Many people suggest this is the worst of two evils in many ways, because when you think about it, what you've got is a situation with, well, a bit of a scandal, to put it mildly, with the former royal known as, of course, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, caught out once again lying, and this is escalating and really escalating behind the scenes. On the other hand, there could be a safer option. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. You all right? I'm all right, thank you very much. Who'd want to be His Majesty the King? When you think about it, the Queen had quite an easy time, even if you look back at her long and illustrious reign. She didn't have these sort of problems, you know. Unlike her father, King George, of course, who had the problem of, well, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Nowadays, everything's escalated, magnified on a bigger scale, all thanks to the world of social media. And as I told you recently, you know, what's interesting, when Harry came back over here to the United Kingdom, nobody in the senior level of the royals wanted to see him. You know, nobody, it's a tarnished image. And, you know, it says a lot, in fact, that when, of course, Prince Andrew recently went to the Duchess of Kent's funeral at Westminster Cathedral, well, that was a big step forward. And days later, that big explosion happened regarding, of course, the Epstein scandal. Now, behind the scenes, what I can tell you that's happening is very, very big discussions. And the problem that you've got, if you are the king, is this. It's no good putting out publicity about another state visit from Germany and hoping that that's the distraction. You know, that's not a distraction, sir. The problem that you have to deal with this situation. Many people know that His Majesty the King, you know, whether you like that quality in someone or not, he doesn't like confrontation, always believes things will go away. The Queen was very decisive, you know. She was very strong-willed in that respect, and I think that's why she was very successful, if I'm honest. Now, the King, you know, just thinks things might just pander out. Here's the options now that are on the table. You see, the way to solve this problem would be, of course, full removal, stripped titles, etc., and off the Windsor estate for Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. Now, as you know, there's this back and forth about, you know, will the daughters of Andrew and Fergie become working royals? That's now untenable, really, because truly, every time they go anywhere, there's going to be the disgraced Duke in the background. And I don't mean, you know, I mean that metaphorically, you know, because they will bring that up in the media. So it's a no-winner for these two princesses, to be blunt. And they are far better working out independently. The idea really would be to suggest where could they put the disgraced Duke and, of course, the Duchess. Or the other option is simply this, to really distract, and this is what's going on behind palace walls, again I have to say allegedly, is to distract by removing titles, or at least starting the rumblings of removing titles of Harry and Meghan. And this really, again, I would say is not going to work, because on this particular occasion, I would say the alleged lying of the Duke of York on Newsnight about when he cut off the relationship with, of course, the vile character that is Jeffrey Epstein, well, it's not enough. Now, as I said the other day, the problem that you have is that really, you know, there's worst of two evils, and the king doesn't want to deal with either one of them. But senior courtiers behind there are saying, you can't let this get out of hand. It's raising to the point where the anti-monarchy will get worse. Now, obviously, if they were to take the titles away from Harry and Meghan, you know, I don't really see that as a major result, because she becomes Princess Henry. People won't call her that. People will call her Princess Meghan. That creates more problems. That's exactly what William knows, and that's really why he's kept out of that particular kilter. Moving forward, what you've now got, and this is the bigger situation, is how and when he decides to remove the Duke of York. And he's going to have to do something well before the end of the royal year, before Christmas, simply because nobody in the background knows what's coming next. And on top of all of that, you know, you will notice that he's not been out riding, she's not been seen since, and there has been private meetings. But according to an excellent source, the bigger issue is this, that they don't know now what is going to come out in the files in the forthcoming book of the deceased Virginia Giuffre. So things are not going to get any easier. If the king doesn't draw a line under this, it wouldn't matter about removing the titles or taking the Sussexes off the royal website. On this occasion, it's not enough. Now, that's what's developing behind palace walls. What do you think? Truly, I'd love to know. Please be respectful, like and share. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.